What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Peanut Gallery podcast. This is the place that we provide our completely unprofessional and insignificant opinions on the most important and significant topics of the day. I'm your host, Jared, and with me, as always, is Seth. Seth, how you doing,
man? Doing well. We just got off of a intense election night.
Yes.
We have a new president, and I'm excited to break down a lot of these numbers today because I think some of them are surprising. Some of them I didn't expect. Some of them I don't think anyone expected.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to dive into it because I think it's important to understand how everything played out.
Yeah, definitely. Today's going to kind of be a little bit of a special PGP, more election focused, obviously, because we had our election last week. So we're going to really break down, like Seth said, and talk about the numbers, talk about the polling, where it went wrong, the swing states, how that played out, and then also the voter turnout. We're going to touch on all this. So first of all, first stat, this is according to Vox.com. We had roughly about, and this is... you're hearing this on Monday. We're recording this a couple days earlier. So these stats are subject to change.
Slightly, probably.
Yeah, but it's pretty much out, but it might change just a little bit. So we had roughly about 128.8 million people out of the 231 eligible voters who came out and voted, which is a voting percentage of 55.6%. That's
much lower than I thought.
Yeah, it's down compared to 2012.
Yeah, like I really thought there was going to be record voting numbers, if only because these two candidates were hated so much. You know?
Yeah, like people were kind of getting into it more because it was such a big spectacle and it was almost more entertainment this election cycle than politics, you know what I mean?
But yeah, there was less voters, right, than the Romney-Obama vote.
Yeah, there were less, and that's part of the reason why these polls were off.
Why do you think there was so little amount of people?
I think because people just don't like either one, man. I think that we thought, there can be
they
cases
just thought
made
it was
for
useless
each
to
one.
Vote.
Yeah, like people just dislike these candidates so much that they just didn't go out and vote.
I also could think they were like tired of hearing about it. I mean, this has been a draining election cycle.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of people kind of just like done with it.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't care. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Something will happen in the morning. It will be worse off regardless. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, I'm sure there's people who.
I was very surprised. I would have thought I thought it was going to be record high voter turnout.
And a lot of people did. I mean, if you look at the polls and stuff like that, we're going to reference. We're talking mainly about the 538 polling.
It's highly inaccurate polling.
Yeah, no, I mean these general election polls had it completely off.
Yeah.
And a lot of the key states that they needed to have right were off too, which caused the general poll to be way off. So I mean these swing states, a lot of them had, according to 538, it gave Florida and North Carolina to Hillary Clinton, which Trump took.
They were close though. North Carolina was pretty close, but Florida, man.
Florida was close.
Florida was so close, man. It was really just Broward, right? The biggest county almost in Florida besides what Miami-Dade.
Yeah.
And those both went left.
And we're going to talk about it later, but it's because Trump actually had a much higher Latino turnout than expected.
Yeah, we will get into that. That was also interesting.
But yeah, so Florida went to Trump, and then also North Carolina went to Trump, which another big reason is, voter turnout was lower. You had a significant less African American vote came out and supported Hillary, so that's interesting too. And then also these unexpected wins that Trump was able to get that nobody saw coming at all, like Pennsylvania and Michigan and Ohio and Wisconsin. People were not expecting. Ohio was the only one that was kind of leaning somewhat Republican, but these other states were definitely purple, if not left states. And it's crazy that he was able to come in and take these. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It was when he got Pennsylvania, man.
Yeah, it was.
Who would have thought? It was nuts.
I mean, I've been to Milwaukee before, and it was according to the CNN exit polls, you had 95,000 fewer votes were cast in the city of Milwaukee for Hillary Clinton than they were passed for Obama in 2008. and she lost the state by 70,000 votes. So I mean, if you had had the same turnout that happened in 2008, Hillary Clinton would have won that state, and it's a similar situation in Michigan. So I think it's really telling to why people didn't come out and vote. There wasn't the high voter turnout that there was in 2008 or 2012.
Yeah.
And I think that just speaks to how disliked these candidates were. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think we should start getting into the actual voter turnout because I think it is surprising. But yes, I think a lot of people just didn't vote because they didn't like them. But I also think you had a lot of votes on both sides because they hated the other side so much.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, let's jump into it then. So we had among the African-American vote, we had 88% support Hillary Clinton and 8% support Trump, which if you kind of reference that to 2012, you had 93% support Obama and 7% support Romney. So it's interesting that Trump got more African-American support than Romney did.
Right?
Yeah.
But less voter turnout.
And less voter turnout. Yeah, significantly less African Americans came out and voted in this election cycle than they did in 2012. Yeah. Which, honestly, I don't think that's surprising at all.
I think everyone kind of assumed Obama got a lot of the African American vote.
Yeah, if you think that Clinton is going to get the same amount of African American vote that Obama is, you're kidding.
We really should have put deplorables, right? I think that was the way she described them. So, I mean, I don't think she did. I think she kind of just assumed she would be grandfathered in to all of the African Americans that came out with Obama, and I think that's a lot of the issues that most people would agree. I think Clinton assumed, and the media assumed certain things that just didn't play out.
Yeah,
and
her
all
base
these assumptions kind of stacked.
Yeah,
and I think it's interesting that Trump got more African Americans than Romney. Still not a lot, 8%. I mean.
Yeah, no, it's not much, but it still is more. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Maybe the African Americans are starting to see that these, democratic policies and stuff like that in these major cities aren't helping them.
Yeah, let's not get too hopeful.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
know.
We'll
I don't know. Maybe, perhaps.
It's only 1%. But another thing that's telling is that for the Latino vote for Hillary Clinton, she had 65%, and Donald Trump had 29%. And then when you look at Obama and Romney, it was 71% to 27%. So this is shocking.
Again, he got more with all of the stuff people were saying.
Exactly.
That he was super racist against Latinos, Mexicans, because he referenced Mexico a lot and how they're shipping over their bad people or whatever. I mean,
bad hombres,
right? Oh gosh. I mean, I really think it shows that a lot of people just see right through the
media's
the crap the
and
media
bias.
tries to throw at them,
Yeah. Yeah, that's shocking to me. And I think that's the reason that he won Florida. I would think.
Yeah, well, because South Florida,
stats will come
that's
out
a lot
later on. But yeah, Florida is there's a lot of Latinos and Hispanics in Florida. So I think that helped him get that state.
Which is nuts. I mean, I would not have counted on him winning Florida with the help. We don't know if it is, but I mean, it didn't hurt that he got more Latinos than we were expecting.
Yeah, definitely, because that's a large demographic there. And then another kind of group that didn't show up in the polls is the people who are ages 18 to 29, kind of the millennials almost.
Yeah, which we talked about before and how they typically lean left.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really so right anymore. We're barely half of them voted for Clinton.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no. It's interesting. Less supported her this go around than supported Obama. So
did anybody support Clinton more than Obama? I don't think so.
No.
Like even women supported Obama more.
Obama more than Clinton.
Like, gosh, man, that's so sad.
I know, man. Yeah, it's well, I mean, I'm glad, dude. She got what's freaking coming to her.
I am very surprised because I did feel like millennials more would show up because a lot of millennials just didn't show up.
Dude, people didn't like her too, though. I mean, if it had been Bernie Sanders, he wouldn't have won.
He would have had like 80%.
He wouldn't have won, but yeah, among the millennials, it would have been much, much higher.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's telling, man. Once again, people just don't like him. And then if you get in, so this is interesting too. Trump actually got less of the white vote than Romney did, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, Trump just won because he figured out how to get the white working class really involved, and he gathered all their support, and that's all he, kind of was counting on to win the election. And it's not true, because Romney had 59% of the vote while Trump had 58% of the vote.
Mm-hmm.
So when people say that, I mean, that's kind of
ridiculous.
This
is what you're going to see, I think, in the polls is with all of since the election now, the media has been on full kind of like offense on the voters for Trump and saying they're racist, and we'll get into that later. But I mean, the numbers just don't add up.
No,
I mean,
it
he
doesn't
had
at all.
less. Well, yeah, he had less like percentage of whites voted for him than Romney. He had. He won a lot of the majority of the women votes state per state. Like he won most of the women on a state by state basis. Like,
and it's such a double standard. Like if white people are racist for voting for Trump, when there's 58% of white people who voted for him, but there's 88% of African Americans who voted for Clinton, wouldn't it be racist for them to vote for Clinton? Like it.
Well, no. Well, just look at Obama.
Standard.
You have
or Obama. Yeah, I got 93%
voting
of the
African
vote.
American.
So you could say, yeah, it's. It doesn't even
That's
make
not
sense.
racist.
There's no reason to bring race into it at all.
Exactly.
In my opinion. It doesn't make sense.
What is other?
Other minorities. So yeah, we had Asians.
Oh, okay.
Asians supported Clinton 65 to Trump.
No one
29.
talks about the Asians. We have no.
Well, they make up 4% of the voting population, so it's very minor.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's kind of why.
Which kind of sucks, but it makes sense. They really can't. They can't vote. They can't appeal to everyone.
Yeah.
Take friggin' too long.
Okay. So yeah, minorities as a whole supported Hillary Clinton, up like 56 to Trump's 29. But then, so this is interesting. You get into kind of the women supporting Hillary Clinton, and you have 54% of women supported Hillary Clinton when 42% supported Donald Trump, even though Donald Trump is this sexist pig.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and then you have, Hillary's married to a sexist pig, so I don't know.
Exactly.
Which one's worse? Again, I think a surprise.
Yeah, no. I think
so many closet Trump voters, man. People that either they were scared to come out, or they didn't come out, or maybe they did come out, but they were just tossed to the side because it didn't help the angle the media was going after.
Yeah, I honestly don't find it that surprising that he got 42% of the women's vote. I mean, we've seen with this election cycle that people have seen through the media's lies. They weren't buying what they're saying.
Clinton more than they think Trump is racist and everything. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
She got. Yeah, it's pretty telling that Clinton didn't even get as much support as Obama did.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty expected, I think.
I mean, it's expected now, like after the fact. That we've seen that she has 2 FBI investigations and all these WikiLeaks, and people generally think,
and 30 years before that,
she is corrupt.
Crap. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, typically you would just think first, female presidential nominee, she would gather a large amount of women's support, which we've seen
really,
just isn't the case.
She really didn't ever. I didn't feel like she didn't really shill her whole being the first woman. Like I really didn't hear that come up much with her talking.
Yeah, she brought it out a decent amount.
I thought it was gonna be like the
all
main
the time.
staple,
Yeah.
Like
people would definitely see through that if that was like their main thing.
I don't know. People didn't. I don't know. Maybe.
That was So, and then some other interesting things. We had people, if you're making under $50,000, Clinton got 52% of the vote. Trump got 41% of the vote. If you're making more than $50,000, Clinton got 47. Trump got 49. And then this one's interesting. Clinton got only 89% of Democrat.
This one's cool.
Yeah, only 89% of Democrats voted for Hillary Clinton, and 9% voted for Trump, which is interesting. I mean, it's not really
interesting
that
compared to the next
though.
one, because Trump got 90% of the Republican vote.
Yeah.
And so Trump got more votes for his party than Clinton got for her party.
Uh-huh.
Which is
the Democrats were more divided about Hillary Clinton than the Republicans.
Yeah, and more Democrats voted for Trump than Republicans voted for Hillary.
Yeah. It's interesting.
I mean, the hatred for the Hillary, I think, runs pretty deep.
Yeah, everyone underestimated it, honestly.
Mhm.
Everyone underestimated that. And then, so this is where the election obviously went. Is you had the independents. You had 42% of independents supported Hillary Clinton, while 48% of supported Donald Trump.
Yeah, he got the independent vote.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he. There wasn't that many. I mean, not that many. There were a lot, but there was a lot of very close. That I think they kind of just helped out Trump just a little bit. The independents were just a little bit more. Over 50K was just a little bit more. The men were a decent amount more, but they were pretty close. I mean, you get to white Latinos and African Americans, there's a pretty big disparity. Can't speak today. I don't know, man. It's weird, and like you're gonna hear a lot in the media, and we have already not even a day past of it being a white supremacist voters for Trump, and that's all he got. And
Yeah.
it's just white people trying to take back America. Well,
It's
just
not
over
true.
half of his votes were white, like barely half.
Of the votes for Trump.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And then white voters were less of the entire electoral vote this year than they've ever been.
exactly. I mean,
So it's not just white people voting for Donald Trump. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
other minorities that are coming and voting for him, and then also people who Hillary was expected to get are deciding not to support her.
like over a third of his votes came from Latinos or African Americans.
Yeah.
That's insane. I really didn't expect that. But I think it just. I mean, I'm already tired of everyone. I mean, people labeling Trump supporters as being racist and stuff. But then you look at it, and you're like, a lot of these people voted for Obama last election and the
And
election
now
before
they're-
that,
and then
and
they're
now they're voting for Trump. They're not voting for Hillary. So
Yeah.
did they just become racist? Like
Yep, that sounds about
over
right.
4 years?
Yeah, they became racist.
Now they're racist because they're voting for the white guy.
Yep.
Love it. I mean,
Well, it's very clear.
I guess they're both white, but whatever. Yeah. But also, I mean, let's talk a little bit about how awful these polls were.
Yeah, Seth has been very adamant about not liking the polls. I trusted the polls more than I clearly should have in hindsight. So yeah, I mean, I think this election cycle definitely speaks to how the polls have been inaccurate and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And it's not.
and I think people
like
will
we were
take that
saying.
into consideration more in the future.
Well,
You
it's
know what
not
I
so
mean?
much the polling, because polling and how they're calculated is math, and math is just math. But it's getting the accurate sample
The
to
sampling, getting the right
represent
amount of people.
America.
Yeah, definitely.
Which
that's
is
a
the
really good
problem,
point.
and they were just not getting accurate representations of how America was voting.
No, they weren't.
And,
And what they were doing in some of these states, like Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, because they were polling fairly heavily in Clinton's favor, they weren't taking as much sampling there because they just assumed that she would get it.
Like
know what I mean?
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, exactly. So
And when you start to just assume you're gonna win, you start to not work as hard. And the underdog, I mean, they're constantly working. Like, I don't know. I think you become complacent if you get to the top
If you
and you
think
just
that
figured
you're
you're gonna win because everyone
Yeah.
thought she was gonna win.
Or then if you think that you have that state but you really don't, you're using resources in other states that she was using resources and stuff like that in Arizona and stuff, which she was not gonna win. And so if she had used that time and that money more in Pennsylvania, which she thought was a done deal, then I don't think it'd be
Yeah.
a different outcome. But you get what I'm saying. They need
Yeah.
to be spending their time and resources in the states that are closest that they need to win.
And all the time and resources they spent on young voters. I mean, she killed the Twitter game. She killed the Instagram, Snapchat. I mean, obviously Trump was big on Twitter just because he was just crazy. But Hillary had social media on point. You heard her talk about Pokemon Go and crazy things in her election speeches, trying to reach out to these young voters, and
they
she
didn't
only
show
got 54%.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, of the
was
ones
a
that
waste.
even showed up, and not that many even came out and voted.
Exactly. I mean, she didn't get the Bernie votes. I'm sure she thought she was going to get.
No.
She didn't get the African American votes. I'm sure she thought she was going to get.
Or the
and then
Latino
Trump
vote.
got so many extra votes that people just weren't expecting.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It was a tight race, and it was intense to watch, man. These states coming in. I enjoyed it. I'm glad it's over now, though. Oh
Yeah,
my
me
gosh,
too.
I have like election fatigue.
It definitely brings out the worst in Americans. That's for sure.
Mhm.
It brings out the worst of us. But it gives us an opportunity in the end to really kind of come together and unite. And if that happens, I doubt
Mhm.
it, but we'll see. Hopefully it does. Hopefully it does.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, hey, let's move into our pick of the week.
Oh
So,
yeah. Ooh.
Yeah,
Okay.
this should be interesting. Seth's gonna tell us what his what his is.
All right. So we mentioned earlier on how a lot of people now that Trump won, is just labeling this as white people voting against progressive thoughts and against gay people, against blacks or African Americans. Um, and I guess is he a reporter? I don't know. Van Jones from CNN.
Van Jones was heavily involved in the Obama administration.
Gotcha. Van Jones of CNN or on CNN. I don't know if he works with CNN.
No, he doesn't.
Went out, did like a little speech monologue about how this election has him scared because of now Trump's in. Has people he knows scared, and how everyone's like excited for it, but then he sees it as like a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
A couple quotes that I wanted to just talk about and kind of just tear apart, honestly, was he did, and I quote, he said it was a white lash against a black president, end quote.
Makes sense.
I think he was watching the wrong election because Trump wasn't campaigning against Obama. He was against
Wait,
Clinton.
Obama's not running for his third term?
Right? I mean, I think I missed that. I mean, Van Jones,
No.
maybe CNN was just thought that. They were like, we got this. I don't know. About as accurate reporting as you're going to get on CNN. But I just think that's like, why are you inciting racism and putting racism into this thing that just doesn't even need to be there? I mean, Trump didn't go at Obama that much, like as much as any other president goes for the guy in office currently. I
And
mean,
why even bring up President Barack Obama? I mean, he's done. His term is over. He can't even run anymore. It's not. There were no black people
Yeah.
in this election cycle.
And as we
why are you
talked-
bringing up race?
Trump got a lot of Obama's voters.
Yeah.
And so a majority of white people voted for Obama in his first election. And now a majority voted for Trump. And the people that voted for Obama originally weren't racist then, but now it's racist because they're voting for Trump. I mean, these people, I mean, maybe you can assume thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people just become racist in 4 years or 8 years. But it just seems like it's like,
Grasping at straws.
stop trying to just add these hyperbolic words and get headlines. I mean, a white lash against black president. I mean, what are you talking about? Just to move on to another quote, he said, and I quote, that Trump in his this was before Trump did his victory speech or whatever.
Acceptance speech kind of thing.
Van Jones said, and I quote, he has a responsibility to come out and reassure all the people he has assaulted and offended that he will protect them and support them. I really didn't see that many people he assaulted and offended. I can see people assaulting and offending Trump voters right now, saying we're racists.
Bigots.
I think, yeah, bigots. I think to his credit, Trump had a great acceptance speech or whatever it's called.
Yeah, definitely.
He said, like, we're in America, we're one. We should unite. He's here to protect all Americans. It was a really good speech, and so to his credit, I think he did what Van Jones said, although I don't think, like, Trump's, we have records of Trump threatening to sue a whole county to get African Americans and Jewish people the ability to go to a golf club. We have video of Trump being pro LGBTQ, and the rest of the letters I don't remember.
LBGTQIA.
Whatever, question mark, because you can add more later.
Yep.
I don't know. It just was like responsible. I don't know. This whole speech by Van Jones.
Yeah,
seemed-
dude. It irks me, man. It just doesn't make sense, man. And then to say that it's a white lash against a black president. there were fewer white people that voted this election cycle than in 2012. And was that a white lash against a black president? No, it wasn't, because he won.
Yeah.
So it's
you
just
can't,
it's
and they mostly voted for. I mean,
it's
you
an
can't
asinine
bring
argument.
you can't bring logic into these things because it just falls apart. And it's like, stop bringing things to this level. And they, throughout the whole campaign, labeled Trump as these horrible, horrible things. And now, they expected him to lose and he would just go off, but now he won.
Yeah.
So now the whole media outlet's trying to figure out what to do, and then they turn on the people that voted for him.
And they don't know what to do. And
Over
it is
half
amazing.
of America, well, not over half, but like half of the voting population of America, and calling them racists, like,
Yeah.
because they voted for their conscience. Maybe they voted because they thought Clinton was worse. Maybe they voted because they liked some of his policies. I'm sure some of them are racist. There's racist people everywhere. But to categorize a whole group and to say if you voted for him, you are this, and to say a vote for Trump was a vote for this,
Yeah, it's insane.
is asinine. And
Yeah.
just get out of here, man.
Yeah.
And let's be really realistic about what Trump has the power to do as president. He's not going to go around and just deport hundreds of thousands of people. Not going to happen. Just can't happen. He'll probably do stricter immigration, and we will have to figure out something to do with the immigrants that are here. But he's not just going to throw you out of the country like that. I mean, things will happen. He's not going to, I mean, I'm pretty sure, I think he's not going to repeal gay marriage. I really don't think that's a big deal for him. Let him keep the right to get married. I just think people are just blowing these things out of proportion, and Trump really doesn't have all the power in the world. He's going to have a lot of
That
power,
people think.
but there's a checks and balances in our system, and I think if you trust in the system, you can stop freaking out over these little things that people have
Yeah.
blown out of proportion.
Yeah, definitely, man. I agree. And that kind of coincides with my pick of the week, which is the Young Turks. Sorry.
Turks. Close.
Yeah,
Basically the same thing.
So they were doing their election coverage and all that kind of stuff. And so a quote by one of them, I don't know who it was because I don't watch it because it's a waste of time and I'm not an idiot. However, I did see this kind of pop up around the internet. And he said, "Tens of millions of Americans are perfectly fine with a man who is driven only by racism and sexism."
I don't even think he listened to one Trump speech because I'm pretty sure his platform was neither one of those things.
Not at all. No. And it's crazy to me that you can categorize that many people as racist, sexist, homophobes.
And then say that they're assaulting people and they're the bad guys. Like,
yeah, exactly. And these are the same people we just talked about this, who voted for President Obama in 2008 that realized that, hey, we got screwed during this. Like, he did not do everything that he said he was going to do. Trump could not have won this election without winning these purple states that voted for Barack Obama in 2008 and 2012. So he got these people's votes. So they're not just turning into racist, sexist people overnight.
Well, no, as soon as they sign the ballot.
Exactly.
Racist.
It's just instant
Racist.
transformation.
Yep.
And then another reason, I think that a lot of people just voted for Trump because they did not want to see Hillary Clinton get in office. Hillary Clinton is a despicable, detestable, corrupt individual, in my opinion.
Yep.
Investigated twice by the FBI, so it turns out that if you nominate someone like that, it's probably not going to work out that well. And it didn't. Clearly, we see that.
Mm-hmm.
So this argument that the reason that Trump is in is because, people are racist and sexist and xenophobic and all this kind of stuff is crazy. People voted for Donald Trump. America elected Donald Trump. Maybe, yeah, I'm sure a lot of them believe in his policies and stuff like that, but I'm sure that there's undecided voters who don't agree with his policy but did not want to see Hillary Clinton president because she's corrupt. And
That's me.
Exactly. And they
It
wanted
was
it's
a
me
clear
too.
anti-Clinton, man.
Exactly. And they wanted to see somebody come in who's outside of the system and, kind of change things up. And whether he'll do that or not, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what they're voting for. That's
And
the hope
everyone
that they
knows
have.
to enact change and to move forward in society is to call half of the population racists.
Exactly.
That really seems like it's going to push us
It's very
forward and
unifying.
totally unite us, man.
Yeah.
Totally unite us, yeah.
Yeah, and once again, I mean, there's plenty of things to bash Trump on, I believe, but I don't believe he's racist or a bigot at all,
No.
or xenophobic. To say that you want to have borders and have an immigration system and stop illegal people from coming here, that's not racist. That's called having laws and enforcing laws. Every other
Pretty
country,
sure being
every
illegal
other
here
country in
is
the world
illegal.
does it. Why is it racist if we do it?
Yeah.
And then to say that you're not going to let people in from Syria and stuff like that, that you can't vet, that the FBI has said we cannot vet these people. We do not know. To say, okay, you know what? We can't vet you. We don't know what your agenda is. We're not going to let you in right now until we can figure it out. Apparently, that's xenophobic.
Yeah. Well, because put in the safety of your own country.
Of Americans first. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's xenophobic.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. It's crazy, man.
These inflammatory statements have me so annoyed. Like,
yeah. And it's not helping.
Calm
it's
down.
not
No.
helping. Like, Donald Trump
No.
is going to be our president. We need to, if you disagree with him, I think all across the board, Donald Trump needs to get a clean slate, just like any president would get. And then we judge him based off of his actions while he's president. And we would say the same thing for Hillary Clinton. You judge
It'd
them
be hard,
based
but
off
you'd
their
have
action.
to.
It would be, but you would have to, because every president deserves that. And as long as he upholds, his morals and principles and stuff like that, and things that we think that he needs to uphold, then we're going to agree with him. And if he doesn't, then we'll disagree with him and call him out on it, same as anybody else. And that's what people need to do during this election cycle, or during this kind of transition of power. So yeah, that's my take on it. And this kind of stuff is divisive. It's not uniting at all. It's not even factual. It doesn't make any sense, and it pisses me off. So.
You just look at the voting numbers and it just blows these things out of the water. You're just like, no.
Yeah.
And that's why it's beneficial to be informed, because
I feel
when
icky
people
just talking about it, God.
Yeah, because then when people come at you, which they will if you voted Trump and they found out about it, you're probably going to get a little bit of hate. Just be like, listen, I'm sorry you feel that way, but that's really not how it happened. Maybe you should do your research.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of so far beyond that, though. I mean, a lot of things
you're
on both
assuming you can
sides,
have
this
a
whole
common
election, don't
sense,
stand on
logical
facts.
argument. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a lot of emotion and stuff.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think we're in a pretty rough spot right now.
It's gonna be an interesting couple of months, man.
We're gonna have to go into some serious reconstruction, dude.
Yeah, definitely.
Just to get people to not just hate each other so much.
Yeah.
And it's really a lot fueled by the media just pitting us against each other.
Yeah, no,
You know?
definitely. And I think that's definitely one good thing that it has at least come out of this election cycle is the media has lost a lot of credibility.
Yes.
So.
Hopefully. I
Hopefully.
mean, I think so.
Yeah.
We should check the polls.
Shut up.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, as always, thanks for listening to the Peanut Gallery podcast. If you want to come alongside and offer your insignificant and unprofessional opinions, comment below. Like this video, subscribe to us on YouTube. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, all Beyond Borders. Type it in, follow it, listen, give it a like, comment. Let us know what you guys thought of it. Be sure to check.
What do you guys think is the most important thing about this election? Like, coming out of this election, what needs to happen? Do you still think that Hillary needs to be investigated? Do you still think Trump needs to just not be a president? Or do you think that we can move past that as a country and just unite behind Trump? That's never going to happen, but it'd be nice.
Yeah, we'll see. Definitely comment below and let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know what you guys think about that. Check out our video that we did last week, kind of giving you guys our reactions and our opinions on the election and how it played out and everything like that. So as always, guys, thanks for listening, and remember, we're all little nuts.